Arne, another seriously impressive performance from your team. How much did you enjoy it?
A lot, but it's because it doesn't happen many times that I could just sit back and enjoy. And I thought it was the situation against Tottenham when we were 5-1 up, but that they came back to 5-3. But today we kept control over the game and won with 5-0.
Do you feel like you've gone up a gear in the last few weeks? You mentioned the Spurs game where you scored 6. I don't know, maybe since the week of Real and City, do you feel like you've found another level as a team?
I think it's always a bit in a season. We've spoken about before the game about conceding the chances. Today, I think we conceded 2 or 3. One hit the bar, one hit the post. So and Leicester got 2 chances and scored 1. So that is a bit also in attack. So I think during the whole season we've created quite a lot of chances. And now, like on a day like today, we scored many. Although I said to the players just a second ago that it was 3-0 at half time, but it wouldn't have been weird if after 10 minutes it would have already been 3-0 because we created a lot of chances today.
Hard to think of new Mo Salah questions for you, but I mean,
contract.
Well, we'll leave that to the end. Is he the best player in the world at the moment? Do you think he must be close?
If you look at his numbers, you can't argue that. But there are different players playing in different leagues, so that have a lot of quality. But Mo is definitely up there at the moment. If you look at his numbers, but also like today, he could have even scored more. But I also liked again his work rate for the team without the ball. So yeah, he's in a very good place. You can't argue about that. And let's hope he can stay like this for a long time.
In a team sense, everyone will pick out different things. What did you like most today?
The way we played with the ball, the way we presented yourself, the amount of chances we created, the control we took over the game. In an away game, it's always difficult because there were I think 2 or 3 minutes in the game where we lost a few easy balls and immediately the fans were behind the team. So to control an away game is not always easy because the fans don't always need a lot to be happy about if they play Liverpool. But I don't think we gave the West Ham fans a lot today to cheer about, and that was the most positive thing. So
obviously this is the last game of the year. Give us Arne Slot's review of 2024 from a personal point of view. Obviously began with you in Rotterdam, manager of another big club in Feyenoord, ends with you, manager of Liverpool, top of the Premier League. How would you sum it up for yourself?
Yeah, as a great year. So working at a great club at Feyenoord, I was wondering, can I find another club where I can even have a better time now? At the moment, I can say it's definitely not less or not as good as my time at Feyenoord. It's probably even better because it's special to do this in another country as well. Great players to work with in both teams, and a whole year with only 1 loss.
Is that right?
That was Nottingham Forest. So,
and they're second now.
And they are second now, yeah. So it's been a good half season at Feyenoord and there's been a good half of a season here at Liverpool.
So you won a league with Feyenoord. What is the key to seeing it through?
Consistency, enough challenges will come ahead of us, starting with Man United at home, which is a big game. Even if you don't look at the league table, it's already a big game, let alone you want to keep your lead as long as you can. So I think it's 9 games in the month of January, if you include the 1st of February, which is of course not January, but you know what I mean. So many games are played. You saw today again injury of Joe Gomez.
How is he?
If a player says he wants to stop, he has to be changed in a sprint. Then we all know it's a hamstring, and we all know it's going to take a while before he's back. I don't know how long, but he will be out for quite a bit. And these situations can happen in the season, so a long way to go, but a very good first half year.
So should we do the contract question now?
You can, if you want to. You already know the answer.
Yeah, of course. I just wondered.
Maybe I can ask the question and you answer it.
Well, go on.
What about Mo's contract?
Well, I mean, he's just been in to talk about it.
I always answer. We don't talk in public.
I didn't get the joke. Sorry, I'm a bit slow. Yeah. But does much change in January for the outside world? it kind of feels like it does. You know, they can speak to other clubs, but does it on the inside?
Not on the inside, but on the outside, it definitely does, because probably even people talk even more about it. Not only about these three, but also about other players, because it's always a month where players can make a transfer as well. So it's not only this upcoming month about the three. Probably it's going to be about the ones we bring in, or the ones who could also leave. So that is always the thing in, I think it's somewhere around August, and the thing in January.
Is Trent the biggest worry? Sorry to ask a second one, but with the other two, it just feels a bit more positive. We saw Trent's celebration today. The mood music around him feels a bit more negative.
No, I don't think it's negative at all. He's playing really well, scored a great goal, and the way he celebrated his goal probably tells you enough. So I don't think I have to say much more about it. I'm really happy with Trent, just as happy as I am with Mo and with Virgil. So for me, there's no difference. For the outside world, maybe there's a bit more things happening around Trent in the media than with the other two, but yeah, I'm happy with all three of them at the moment.
Expertly navigated, as always. Happy New Year.
Right, too. Thank you.
Cheers.
Well, it's been an excellent 2024 for Arne Slot. It's not been too bad for Liverpool either. They missed out on the Premier League title, but they were top on New Year's Day. They beat Newcastle 4-2. Mohamed Salah scored in that game, and that's one of a number of occasions on which Liverpool have been top going into the new year, and they spent 162 days at the top of the table in 2024. Now, obviously, none of that matters apart from being top on the final day of the season, and that was Manchester City this time around. But when they've been top of the table on January the 1st in Premier League history, the only time they won it was in 2019-20. Previous seasons, they finished somewhere between second and fourth. On this occasion, with that 8-point gap to Nottingham Forest, they've played a game fewer than Nottingham Forest. It's a 9-point gap to Arsenal, who play again in a couple of days' time. What do you think their chances are this time around?
Yeah, well, they've got a great chance. You have to just look at the circumstances in and around it. You also have to remember they've played 18 games, lost 1, drawn 3. That's a phenomenal record, whether Man City are at their best or not at their best. You need situations to go your way, a little bit of luck along the way. Liverpool fans will point to the fact that we've also had injuries. But when I talk about there's a few players that are almost indispensable, you can't deal without them. And Saka would be one of those at Arsenal. So when you see that Bukayo Saka picks up an injury, looks like he's going to be out for a couple of months, you look at that and think, you don't want to see anybody injured, but that is certainly going to help Liverpool's cause. Manchester City, their demise has obviously helped Liverpool's cause. But I will also say a lot of credit has to go to Liverpool as well. Well, all of it, because they've been phenomenal. You have to ask the question. You have to be ruthless, relentless, and that's what everything they've done. When the new manager came in at the start of the season, I thought, yeah, you know what, Liverpool, as a fan, we'll take top 4. I think that'd be a great start for him. You're following an icon in Jurgen Klopp. How difficult is that going to be? He's made it look seamless. He's made it look so easy. It's been effortless for him. He's a cool guy. He doesn't look like he's trying too hard. Talking a lot of sense to football fans. Doesn't insult their intelligence. He's done a phenomenal job.
Yeah, there's so much to like and admire about Arne Slot. The way he interviews, his presence. It seems to have a real calming influence on the team. There's times where they've had a fantastic start to the season. And there was the week they played Real Madrid in the Champions League. They played Manchester City and followed it up with 2 wins. And that was the week where everyone was pointing at, going, oh, well, let's see how they do here. But they were fantastic. And the way they beat Real Madrid at Anfield, they went on to beat Manchester City, which almost began the demise of Manchester City, if you like. But there's so much to like about him. And he spoke in that interview with Pat there about control of the ball. But you look at the possession stats in a lot of the games this season, and they've actually not been through the roof in terms of they've not been 60, 70%. They've been around sort of 50, 55%, I think 55 today. And that's not huge. That means West Ham had 45% of the ball. But what they do is they give the opposition enough to make it open enough for their players to exploit. And we spoke about the forwards, the Jotas, the Salahs, the Gakpos coming on, Trent coming forward, Andy Robertson getting forward, and the spaces that opens gives them enough to do their magic. And I think what Slot's got is a nice balance of control. They've gone from heavy metal football under Jurgen Klopp to the way they're playing now. And to me, it's easy enough to say that I will be very surprised if they don't win the title, because of where they're at now and the way they're playing and where they go. And like you say, if there are injuries, you don't want injuries to happen to any footballer. But if Liverpool were to lose 2 or 3 key players, then they're going to be challenged like other clubs have this season already. But for now, they just look like they're rolling in a very good direction.
we're lucky enough to have spent time with him. I mean, how good is he as a communicator? I mean, he's got 3 of his main players there, as we've been talking about, as everyone's talking about, who in 5 months have no contract at Liverpool Football Club as we sit here. You wouldn't think so, given his persona, would you?
No, and that's what I think. If you ask me, what do I like about him the most? It's his demeanour, his confidence, his control. Doesn't look flustered with anything. There will be things that will go wrong in his tenure at Liverpool, but if he handles them all like he's handled everything so far, then Liverpool are in real safe hands. But right from the first minute, we were 10 yards away from him as he stood on the side of the pitch for the first game of the season away at Ipswich, and we looked at each other and said, "Yeah, he's just the signs, what he was saying, how he was acting when we spoke to him after. I just thought, yeah, this guy knows what he's doing." Now there are going to be problems. He's walked into a great club with great players, all at the peak of their powers, all with winning mentalities, all with experience of being there, seeing it, and done it. Of course, that's a great start when you're walking into a new club. And there are going to be things that go wrong. Maybe some of the star players leave at the end of the season. Who knows? So he's going to have some big challenges. But on all the evidence that we've seen so far, as I say, I think Liverpool have picked right, and I think they're in really safe hands going forward.
He's fussed without an umbrella. We know that touchline after a game at Anfield.
You sorted him, though, don't worry.
Yeah, we did, yeah. When you look at Mo Salah's numbers, as we saw before, another record today, 20 goals for 8 consecutive seasons in a Liverpool shirt. No one's ever done that. Even the great Ian Rush only managed 6. The consistency of the player.
Consistency, professionalism, the will to get better. You know, we all saw him, and we remember, well, briefly when he was at Chelsea, then he went away, Fiorentina, Roma, heard noises of him, sounded like he was finding his groove, finding his rhythm, and then he came back to Liverpool and a few eyebrows raised. But he has got better and better and better and better, and he looks so confident, so dominant in the position that he's in, and you wouldn't put it past him doing that for, if he signs a contract, obviously with Liverpool, for doing it a few more years to come. Incredible physically, mentally. He's making it look really, really, really easy.
Give us a sense as a striker to do that. Let's just say Ian Rush only managed 6 in a row and dropped below 20 in a couple of his seasons. To do that season in, season out, and have the desire and hunger to go again and hit those kind of consistent numbers.
Well, obviously I didn't hit those, so I mean, only he could probably explain it. But...
Did you even have 8 consecutive seasons at Liverpool?
I'm not quite sure.
No, I think it was a white shirt in Spain that took 7? You away, so move on swiftly.
The reason he's like that is what's between his ears. All the greats, all the champions, they are wired differently to the rest. People can all say, "Oh yeah, I want to be the best player in the world. I want to score a goal." Of course you want to. Of course you want to. But some people just do it and have the mentality to do it and have that eye of the tiger to do it. And every single breath that they take, every single time they go to bed, every time they sit at the meal table, it's an obsession. Whatever they're doing, whatever they're fueling their body with, whatever rest they're taking, whatever they do, they can't do it without being obsessed. What's next? When's the next training set? How am I going to get better? When's the next match? How am I going to recover to get fit for the next one? All of these things are just... And he lives in the gym. He lives for breaking records. He lives for scoring goals and that feeling it gives him. He lives for winning things. And everybody think they do. Everybody thinks they do. But they don't. You know, he absolutely lives for it. And his mentality is to be the absolute best. And he believes he's the best. He thinks he's the best in the world, no question about it. It's for us lot to debate who is and all that, and people up and down the country and all around the world to debate what we think, and it's assisted by numbers. But in his own little world, Mo Salah believes and thinks and knows he's the best player in the world. And as I say, it's not that he thinks it or he wants it or he hopes for it. He does it and lives it. And when everybody else thinks they're doing it, they're not. He is absolutely, you know, on it 24/7. And when he retires, he'll realise it himself that he was different to everybody else. But until that day, he just thinks that, you know, that this is it. And he's just tuned in that way.
You're feeling a little bit unloved there, so I've got them digging. 7 full seasons at Liverpool, and you hit 20 in 5 of them, which is remarkable.
That'll do.
You happy with that?
I'll do. Half qualified to answer the last question then.
And not for today, but he's just been asked, Arne Slot, is he the best player in the world at the moment? He's got to be up in the greats of the Premier League, the way he's going, hasn't he?
Absolutely. Yeah, he's got to be up there. I mean, we will decide that, I think, at the end of his career. At the moment, I'm saying he's probably top 6 to have. Give it another season or two, he could shoot right the way through and be one of the best ever.
I feel a Matchday Live special show coming up.
Well, Mo, you must be getting sick of these interviews and running out of space for these awards. Unbelievable again today. But should we start with the team? Was that a very good, very dominant Liverpool performance?
Yeah, of course. I'm glad for the result. We managed to score the goal early. And yeah, we dominated the game very well, so that's the most important thing. So we managed also to score a few goals.
Yeah. Should we start for you with your first assist? Because it starts with a really clever bit of play, because you must know that you're offside. So just tell us the picture you see, and it ends with a double nutmeg.
I think it's quite similar to Arsenal goal. Also, I was offside, then I left the ball to Darwin. This one, Lucho was shouting behind me or screaming, then I knew that it was offside.
So you've got to be really switched on for that.
Yeah, I had to run toward the goalie, the goalkeeper. Then he just get the ball and cross it to me. So I managed to pass it to Cody also. Clever play.
Please don't be insulted by this, but did you mean both of the nutmegs?
I don't think it's the first one. Second one, yes, because the only option I had this one, but the first one, no, I just want to go ball inside and shoot. But I was lucky to also get it inside and had to touch another time. Then yeah, but second one, yes. First one, no.
So, like I said, another record-breaking season. That's now 8 games you've scored and assisted in this season. No player's ever done that over the whole 38 games. I mean, you're on course for a Ballon d'Or season here, for an all-time great Premier League season. Those individual targets, along with the Premier League title, are they really on your mind?
The only thing in my mind, to be fair, just I want Liverpool to win the league, and I just want to be part of that. That's the only thing I really focused since the beginning of the season. So I will do my best for the team to win the trophy, and we are in the right direction. But of course, there is a few other teams that really try to catch up with us, and they're very good teams. So we just need to, again, to stay focused and humble and just work hard and just go again.
When you walked into the room, I said, "Oh, Mo, you're getting better," and you said, "I tried to." How much of what we see today comes from that? You're never satisfied. You're always hungry. You're always trying to get better.
Yeah, I'm just trying to enjoy the game. To be fair, I was a little bit disappointed from a few chances I missed today. But in the end of the day, I came here for the result. I want the team to win. I want to do something in the game, and I'm glad I did. But I'm always hungry for more. Hopefully, next one I will score more. But yeah, the most important thing, again, team won the game.
Do you know, actually, during the match, I was reminded that last time you came here in April, it wasn't a happy day at all. How much did the end of it wasn't, was it? How much did the end of last season fuel what we're seeing now?
It was a funny thing you said, because the players before the dressing room, before the game in the dressing room, they also were they told me "Oh, you remember what happened here last year?" And the guys were laughing.
Who brought it up?
Virgil started with it, but yeah, we had a little laugh of that. But yeah, we had not a nice memory here last year, but I'm glad this one we had better one.
Ready for the contract question? I know you're not going to stand here and tell us, but are you hoping to be able to give some good news soon?
No, we are far away from that. But again, I don't want to put something in the media and people start saying stuff, but nothing really move on. But I'm focused with the team. Hopefully we win the Premier League.
Well, thank you for answering that. You're the player of the match, of course.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well, Patrick Davison said it all. You're the player of the match, of course, because this is an incredible season, even by Mohamed Salah's usual standards. He's averaging a goal or an assist every 50 minutes, which is significantly his best season so far, his most productive season so far for Liverpool. And he's doing it at a time when these contract negotiations, and in part, that's come from him as well, have reached peak interest. What are your thoughts, Jamie, at this stage?
I think to a certain extent, Arne Slot is reaping the benefits of a really unique, strange situation where your best 3 players are coming out of their contract. And they are all playing at such a high level. They're all hungry. They all want to be successful. First thing on their mind is to win the Premier League. Secondly, they obviously want to get their contractual situation sorted out, be it staying at Liverpool or if it's to go elsewhere. They have got themselves in the most incredible position. Because if you're, as an example, talking about Mo Salah, you're his agent, his numbers right now are as good as when he first came to Liverpool. And that's absolutely frightening. I get Liverpool's position because they're probably thinking, we've got a player here that's 32, 33 in June.
Yeah.
What do we do? How long do we give him? You know, do we want to give him he might want a 4-year contract as an example. Right now, he looks like he could play for the next 4 years, but you just don't know. Some players all of a sudden reach the peak, and then maybe their levels start to drop. You think about 2 players that signed huge contracts in the Premier League history, was Ozil, maybe Aubameyang. They signed the contracts, their form dropped. I don't see that with these 3 players. Whatever they do, whatever they decide to do, I think they're so hungry, they're so effective, so good at what they do, and it's playing into Liverpool's hands because their form is so good. They are playing at such a high level. It's actually a fascinating situation that's going to play out. I honestly think he's going to end up signing his contract. They're going to have to find some middle ground on what they want, because he still wants the top money, but Liverpool are probably a little bit nervous about his age and not wanting to give players because of his age and everything, maybe giving him too long a deal. But because he's playing so well, he's almost forced that issue for Liverpool to have to give him what they want. I do genuinely believe that. And it's the same with Virgil. Virgil was such a Rolls Royce. I can see him playing for another 3 years at this level. Imagine letting him go. If he gets to the end of his contract and you can't agree a deal, imagine how many clubs would want him. Every single club would want to give him whatever they want and to pay him as a free agent. So I think to a certain extent, Liverpool just have to give him. I've said my piece on Trent. Whatever happens there he's in a difficult situation. He's in a different situation because of his age. But those two are just playing so well, and they're making it in a lovely way, so perfect for Liverpool. But they're making it very hard for Liverpool with his contract situation because of how well they're...
Come back to Salah, and of course we'll see the influence that he had on this game in just a second. But Luis Diaz was the player who opened the goal scoring. That's 2 and 3 for him now, having not scored in 7 games before that.
Yeah, another player in this front 3 for Liverpool who just, function at such a high level. The first part of this is brilliant. The second part's fortuitous, and then the finish is excellent. It's just this first touch. He's so sharp. We said before the game, how good he is on the last line, the turn. He actually drifted out into both wide areas throughout the game. He played time, but he was able to roam, and that's what got him the space, and it was a wonderful finish to open it up.
So here's what we were discussing at half-time. Did Mo Salah mean this? And he said no to the first part, yes to the second part. So
you called it, so you said you were convinced he didn't mean it.
Well, my gut, sometimes you have to go with your gut, and in the moment, I didn't think he meant this touch. I mean, you made an excellent point about the weight of pass, but this one here, to me, it just didn't seem like he meant it. And the second part, you can tell he has, but it's the balance and the movement and the way he sort of athletically moves his body that he actually just manages to get on the end of it anyway, and it creates this chance for Gakpo. You can just watch it in slow motion. I think he's meant to take it around the front face of his body with his right foot and to get that finish across. He ends up getting a little bit lucky, but the second part is so instinctive. He manages the little nutmeg which moves it into the path of Gakpo.
It obviously did because he didn't mean it. Reminds me a little bit of when the great Dennis Bergkamp did that bit of skill on Dabizas when he was playing against
Definitely
Newcastle.
Meant that.
No, but I remember saying to him, because it was to Thierry Henry, I said, Thierry, what was your view on that? He said, yeah, because it was Dennis Bergkamp. Of course he meant it, because he was the only player that could do such a skill. But there is an argument to say, well, did he actually mean to do it in the way that he did? But because he was so talented, of course he did. And that one was a strange one. And I think you were right, Izzy. It was a bit scruffy, wasn't it? But because of the player that he is, you think, did he mean it, didn't he? But it was obviously so effective.
Yeah.
You mentioned Mohamed Salah and the sort of length of his Liverpool career and how well he's performed in each of those seasons. He's up to 20 goals again now, and he's done that in every single season, Jamie.
Yeah, this was one of those where he's just reversed it. The keeper, I think, should say this. But Liverpool was so aggressive at that point, so pressing high up the pitch. You've got Jones, you've got McAllister winning the ball high, and then once you get it to him, he finds that bottom corner. The keeper should do better. This is the best angle for what the keeper does. He gets such a good left hand on it. It just goes under him. But another goal and another big moment for him.
And those numbers that you were talking about, there they are in blue and white. Mohamed Salah, and the number of appearances taken to reach those 20 goals. I mean, this is his joint second most effective season in terms of goal scoring. We talked about his effectiveness in terms of goals and assists. This is purely on goals.
And that was in his first season, Kelly, and this is in his last season. So it just shows you that, hopefully not his last season, but this is just the level that this guy's playing at and the numbers that he puts up. And that's why I say he is Whether he's the best, that's everyone will have their own argument on it, but the most effective, because those numbers are just frightening. It is absolutely frightening. What you showed a minute ago, a goal or an assist every 15 minutes. Imagine having that in your team. Some people, you're looking for, can we get one goal as a team? He's doing that on his own. It's frightening what he's doing at the moment, isn't it?
And what it does as well is it embeds belief in the squad, because if you are behind in a game or, the game's tight, there's that belief always that you get the ball to Mo Salah and he'll create something, he'll make something happen. And the other thing it's doing is it's creating competition in the squad. You go in like the likes of Gakpo, Diaz, Núñez even, who's a little bit off it at present. But it says to them, this is the level now. And you've got to hit that, and you can see what it's doing to Gakpo in particular. It's raising his level, and it's saying, well, Gakpo probably wants to do what Mo Salah's done at that football club.
And he's so fit as well.
Yeah,
he's every now and again he takes his shirt to show us how to embarrass every man out there. But he's completely ripped. He's not going to put on weight. He's not all of a sudden going to go, I've got my new contract now, I'm going to sit back. He's going to want to do this for another couple of years to keep proving everybody right. But he just wants to show what he can do. He's a phenomenon, the guy. He's absolutely incredible.
The fourth goal came from a long-range hit by Trent Alexander-Arnold, which on second look had quite a hefty deflection.
Yeah, but if you look at his position here, he's got licence to roam, and yes, he's very, very lucky. Yes, he can hit these from distance, and they don't need a deflection to go in. We've seen that with Trent Alexander-Arnold. But it's when we're talking about Slot and the tweaks he's made, and what he's done with Trent is he's given him licence to go that far in field, to then get himself into a position where he can shoot from there, because he's got the ability and also he's got the angle on it, and he hits it true, and he's lucky with the deflection. But it's no surprise, again, a player in form getting on the score sheet for Liverpool.
5 different goal scorers in this game as well. We've talked about other title challengers maybe not having the sort of sharing out of goals. Liverpool had it in this game. With Diogo Jota coming on and coming back to full match fitness, does that indicate the sort of variety and the strength and depth of Liverpool's squad?
It's another player you can add into that bracket that's going, well, Salah's setting the standard in terms of his numbers and his output, and Jota's, he's in and around Gakpo in terms of trying to follow up. I think that's his 6th goal this season, Jota, coming back from injury. He's been out for a couple of months, and we've heard Arne Slot say that he's going to sort of drip feed him back in, but having that option of Jota coming in, and he's probably ready to start now, Diogo Jota, but again, finish across Areola into that far corner. I mean, Jota in front of goal, you never think he's going to miss. He always looks like he's going to score. He's fantastic.
That's what you've got, is you've got that, I wouldn't say it's competition replaces, but you've got people that can come onto the pitch and get you a goal or an assist. When you've got Jota, and Núñez obviously wasn't involved today, but players that can just give you something else. And they're not coming on with they're not coming on sulking, they're coming on with a point to prove. And that goal was obviously a really good finish, but what Salah does in the middle of the pitch, first of all, when he just drags it away, and he's, even people talk about age, he's still running away from people with the ball. Nobody can get close to him. So, no, it was absolutely amazing today.
Senior pros in a dressing room in a Premier League, which isn't necessarily all about ability. The levels are so high. You've got 2 senior pros and Trent to an extent. I know he's only 26
He's the vice-captain, though, Joe, isn't he?
He's the vice-captain, and you've got a new manager that's coming, and absolutely brilliant. Arne Slot's done a fantastic job. But there are going to be moments. There's no Jordan Henderson anymore. There's no James Milner anymore. There's these really high standard setters that people who are trying to come through, who are trying to find their feet, the Darwin Núñez, the Harvey Elliott's, Curtis Jones, as much as they're trying to get better and improve, they know they've got that safety blanket. They've got, well, Virgil's going to perform. We know that Mo's going to perform and score us goals. We know that Trent's going to create something out of nothing. That is an incredible safety blanket away from the business side of things and away from how they're playing to help progress the younger players to watch what a great example they are as professionals. So there's so many different elements to this.
Yeah. Let's look at Mo Salah today. I know we sometimes joke about assists, which we'll come to in a moment, but they were proper assists today. But his goal, West Ham again, caught in possession.
Yeah, they got caught in possession, but this is what Liverpool do. I mean, they hunt down in packs, they try to win the ball back early. That takes a lot of energy, because those same players that are trying to win the ball back, they're then winning the ball and then they're back on the offensive. So they're doing a double shift there while, the centre-halves are stood on the halfway line watching and admiring. They're putting in all the work. So it's brilliant play. You can only do that if you're really fit, if you've got the right attitude, and tactically you're all spot on. And it was a really good finish by Mo Salah. He took his first touch with the sole of his foot, almost rolled it away from him, and then he knew what he was going to do beforehand. He gave the goalkeeper the eyes, pulled it into the near post, and he's become a real top finisher. I didn't think I'd ever say that 10 years ago. Not many people. In fact, lots of people thought he was a really poor finisher. Now he's just become, through practice and dedication and the right mindset, and I suppose doing it, you know, the more you do something, the better you get, the better your decision making becomes. And now he's all of a sudden, you know, lethal in front of goal and very rarely misses.
Yeah, and from a defender goalkeeper's point of view, you have, I guess, these certain players, like Areola would have been today. It's Mo Salah. In fact, he always seems to score against West Ham. I think it's his second favourite team, 13 he's got against them now. So you just got that extra edge when you're facing these guys.
Well, yeah, look, he's rolled it out of his feet there, like Michael said, to do his trademark finish into the far top corner and managed to rip it back past Kilman, I think it was. So Areola's already hedged his bets to go to his right. As I said at half-time, he's actually more agile than he gave himself credit for and got there quite comfortably, but he's scrambling your head. The Mo Salah finish is out of his feet into the far corner, and when he doesn't do it, not quite sure, ends up making a bad decision with his left hand where, look, this is completely hypothetical, but this is someone else. Say Curtis Jones did the same thing. His mind's not as scrambled, he's a little bit more set, and maybe he makes the save. Again, totally hypothetical, but I'm just talking from a goalkeeper's point of view. You almost brace yourself when you're up against someone who's at the high level that Mo Salah is.
Wow, that is fascinating.
Well, it is, and I was thinking it actually in the game before. We were watching Erling Haaland, and he started adding a dink to his game now. And lots of goalkeepers will now stand up tall for a lot of the time. And now he can bring back the slot finish at any point. When you mix it up a little bit, you leave these guys guessing, and that's what Mo Salah's got. You know, as I say, he used to be quite one-dimensional. He would miss a lot of chances. Now he can go either side. I've seen him dink the goalkeeper. I've seen him go round the goalkeeper. He mixes it up. He's actually an all-round finisher now, and that's a problem for anybody.
Even another attribute, he was running through at the end, and I'm thinking, solo goal, 4-0, he's going to go for it. So as a goalkeeper, you're almost set for Salah to shoot, and then he shifts it to Jota. And I'm just giving you the perspective of the goalkeeper. You can end up getting yourself in a zone for a certain player, so prolific. You talked about Erling Haaland at the start of the season. I think we were doing it together. He didn't have that dink. He was almost open up in the kind of left-footed Henry. And then at the start of the season, he was quite comfortably ripping it back across. Then it was at West Ham, actually. Then he dinked. And I'm thinking as a goalkeeper, like, how can... You end up setting very neutrally, thinking he could do anything here. And if he does any kind of decent finish, you're done. Whereas other players, you can kind of, as a goalkeeper, you'll sit up against them, someone you've got slightly less respect for, I hate to say it, but you'd stand up and almost shift them in a position where you want to make that save. But right now with Mo Salah, you just have to stay incredibly neutral. And you will see goals going in fairly central with him because the goalkeeper is literally planning for anything. And the speed of the ball goes past him.
Well, Julian, obviously really disappointing to lose like that, especially at home, even against a team as good as Liverpool. How would you assess your players' performance today?
No, the first of all is we are very sad for our fans above all because we are disappointed for sure. In the way that we lost, lost. It's true that we are talking about the best team in the Premier League and one of the best team around the world. But I think that we can and we have to do other face above all at home in front of our fans. That's why I am very, very sorry about this. I'm very sad because it's true that today I have to see the match again, but we had one moment in the start after they had the first chance. Before we have one chance, very clear chance, and after we can draw the match with more kudos. But it's true that they deserve more. And in the half the match was gone. So he has been a tough day for us. Yes.
So what was particularly disappointing about the way that you lost the game? Not enough fight from the players?
No, I think that today we have been very far of them in all the things about with the ball, without ball. We can do better. We have to do better in both situations and to compete better today against this kind of team. You can lose, but it's true that if you are not able to stay in the competitive frequency that they demand you, it's very difficult. So we have to look forward, but don't forget this day.
How did Mo Salah find himself in so much space? He's obviously a top player, but you were aware of that. You put Wan-Bissaka left back, I guess, to deal with it. Were you really disappointed with how much room he found himself today?
No, Mo Salah is at the moment one of the best players, even the best player around the world. I think that we were thinking to defend him one right player, because normally he play with his left and try to keep. But it's true that it's not about one player, two players. I think that all of them, they overcome us, and it has been a bad day for us for sure.
There were boos from the supporters at half time, and I'd say quite a lot of empty seats by the end. Do you understand that frustration from the fans? They're obviously not going to enjoy seeing their team lose like that.
Always. The fans always are right, and we understand them for sure. After one match at home, and with this disappointment that we have, for sure that we understand them. Yes.
How would you sum up these first few months for you as West Ham manager? Have you found it difficult to make the impact you'd have liked?
No, we are trying to do our best every day, and to be able to become better team. Sometimes we achieve this, sometimes no. I think that we can, and we have to do better, above all in this kind of matches at home. Now we have all the second part of the season. We had the last 4 matches really well. We did well. And today is a bad day, and we have to recover.
So do you feel confident going into next year that you can affect this team, get them playing your football, your idea, better than we've seen in the first few months?
Okay, today is not the moment to talk about the football idea. Today is to say sorry to the fans and to go tomorrow to work hard and to look forward.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.